Welcome, Mrs. Sri Mulyani. Also, good evening, Mrs. from Semarang. Also, just come back this morning. There was an event, but consider the latest different event. Because Mrs. Sri Mulyani is already here, without further ado, with a respect, please, Mrs. Sri Mulyani, to give your speech. Later, after the speech, it will be continued with singing. I think this is a surprise from the Institute of Indonesia Chartered Accountants. It turns out to be fun and not to be haunted like what pretty people imagined. When we look out from the costume, my clothes are following the route I was given. And the funny thing is, after singing, you asked me to deliver a speech. It is kinda awkward. So for me, I won't give a speech. I was asked to speak with a series title by the Vice Minister, the head of Institute of Indonesian Chartered Accountants, and maybe the only candidate for this Congress. If we look out at the backdrop, it is full with SDG. So maybe accountant in Indonesia want to convey that we are not only looking at the balance sheets and income statement, we also care about goal or world stream to get better work through 17 indicators. This is great to the surprise. I give applause to the Institute of Indonesia Chartered Accountants. So if I talk about accountants and accountability, perhaps I don't need to talk about tonight, especially after the situation we will rock you that usually is awkward. But maybe if we want to talk about a little light but serious but light. Yesterday, the president delivered his hope. Maybe the duty for all of us to the journey of the Republic of Indonesia today ahead. There's a lot that we have achieved in the context of reformation this past 20 years. This is the 2018. If we can say that 20 years, if it children, so it has been an adult, it can choose its own way. If our reformation from 1998 to 2018, we have already achieved many things too, from law of finance states, law of national treasury, law about audit board of the Republic of Indonesia, law about financial service authority, law of government's responsibility, law of financial crisis, the financial sector safety net, and other law, which is maybe the foundation for financial governance in Indonesia and Reformation era, which is the spirit is more on the transparency, accountability, and our journey is quite long. If I'm allowed to tell the story here, maybe the conclusion will rock you too, right? Because we start with a balance sheet that is from nothing to excess. Imagine the Republic of Indonesia, the actual ICE is 61, but the Republic of Indonesia just had a balance sheet at 2005. Accidentally, the Ministry of Finance is Sri Mulyani. That was unlucky because to be a Ministry of Finance, then ordered by the law of finance they to make a balance sheet. So from what used to be, the accounting class is not my favorite. I must surrender that every day. The balance sheet. It is a disclaimer officially, and the life assets they are incomplete. The liability is complete because who owes us has the books, so the asset is incomplete. The definition of equity is unclear. So a lot of people who sit in this room contribute a lot in the journey of the balance sheet of the Republic of Indonesia. Actually, I will ask the ICA to make it into a book because it is an episode and it has a main care of the accounting profession about its governance accounting. From balance sheet that doesn't exist to exist, and later with disclaimer to be qualified opinion and then become unqualified opinion. It is a long journey, and accidentally, while waiting to be unqualified opinion, I came back to Indonesia. So it's like you started and you ended. Happily, it will continue like that. In this context, actually, we have at least a foundation from legislation and governance, and then come up with the so-called business practice, good constitutional practice. The, the every year, the result maybe doesn't match with our maximum hope. That's the other thing. But at least good foundation from our Republic Indonesia has been placed and has been drawn. In this room, maybe include the deceased Sir Hakinas Manau, who is the first time Sir Sonalaho in here, Sir Vice Minister who leads until I return to Indonesia, accepting the position of Finance Minister. The difference with the Minister of Finance before, I didn't have the Vice Minister. Second, maybe for 18 months, can currently hold the position as a Minister of Finance and Minister of Economy at the time. Now I return to be the same Minister of Finance, but I have a Vice Minister who is Professor of Accounting and the head of ICA. So if I say lightly, I think I don't need to accept our financial report to postpone it again. And I cannot say if our financial report is not unqualified opinion. This is the Vice Minister talks from me. I don't know what is President against to the Vice Minister, but as I'm his minister, it does only one. That is the Vice Minister must make sure that is an unqualified opinion. And with all of the network of the influence as a professor or head of ICA, we can get an unqualified opinion without compromising the quality. Officially, still that is accountable. Sir Lorden is already here now, so that is an awesome journey. If we already have a wonderful foundation that not every country in the world has this kind of foundation. I at the time was a COO of the World Bank, and I went to more than 80 countries. And I always met at the first time I saw, I asked them, don't they have a balance sheet? Don't they have financial statement? I was told their state budget, I saw their portion. So later, when I went to Jamaica and they just started making one treasury single account, I can tell a lot of story, every detail, like what we have done. When we talk about tracing asset and recording assets, I can tell a lot of story on how a transit ministry was relatively easy, is very hard, with resistant, how we can to finally make this as an experiment that is extremely useful, also extremely rare. Rare because not all the country, 192 countries in the world, there has been a cure and achieved what we have been achieved. Sometimes we forget to take things for granted. Maybe people only look at something lovable about Indonesia, something that we really seriously achieve. And what about when I was told that state treasury and finance law asked us to make an accurate finance report? Imagine that I didn't understand cash basis back then. I didn't understand what accrual is, and it turns out that it has a great implication. And so we ask for postponement because we are too ambitious. In less than 5 years, Republic of Indonesia will ready from no balance sheet, no financial statement to have balance sheet and accrual. Awesome. This is what so-called we so many remarkable achievements, and this is the core in accounting. People on ICA should be spokesperson. I would say that we have done so many things and that we are done. But at least ICA is one of the professional association that can tell authoritatively how this is a wonderful and uneasy journey. Even the company is hard. I think I still remember my early days as a Minister of Finance when I came into the ICA office, right? That led before Sir Mardiasmo. All of the leaders is legendary. We discuss from the government. They still face the establishment of the Indonesian Bank Restructuring Agency and said that they still have a lot of liability because bill outright, but the result is no there, or the asset is more on the undervalue, overvalue, or non-access. Maybe the certificate doesn't exist, or the certificate that has been seen, it turns out the land is a beach or a cemetery, but it's valued at trillions. It was a great episode though, in the Republic of Indonesia. If you talk about accountability, the financial crisis, and all those things, the first thing we are trying to create is then a legacy problem, which then makes Indonesia relatively normal. But that doesn't mean we always completion. Is that we have to be careful what we achieve. We have to take care of it. That's why I want to be at the 13th Congress dinner and celebrating 61's ICA. Maybe we can have an element of celebration like we will rock you. This is worthy for the various achievement we have received. But if you have celebrated, don't forget to check out our homework. We still have it. The first one that was conveyed by the president yesterday said if we want to become an accountable country with good governance, doesn't mean we have to be complicated and complex. It doesn't have to be a high cost process. I think this is something I hope that Professor Mardiasmo will be the chairman of ICA again. It is homework that must be done. It means places ICA. Don't let everyone get a little stomachache. There are village accounting standards. There are ultra small business accounting standards. There are medium business accounting standards. There are holding accounting standards. There are Sharia accounting standards and others. I don't know what is that. The point is all of a sudden Mr. Madiasmo always say we will use Indonesian accounting standards. Is it right? SRK, what is that? My stomach hurt right away. what's more. But because I'm polite, I just smile. But yesterday's president was clear. Don't make it more complicated. Our life already has a lot of complexity. Can you make the standard that was requested by the president clear accountability but not too complex? Accountability is not the goal. The goal is accountable so that we are able to deliver or our responsibility is delivered. If you have this kind of resource to use for this, then the result should be like that. It should be done. Can you make it more simpler? And especially also in the context that it also needs to educate all stakeholders. Don't solve it with ICA and ICA solve. Just reinforceless. If Mr. Mardiasmo sits with Mr. Adam and Mr. Moore, the three of them talk an accounting language. My wrist started to spin. Can you make it more like ordinary people knows like Jack Lontong can understand that so he can include it in his jokes, right? It is good if Jack Lontong can know that next time he will be invited to an event, suddenly he talks about accounting which looks cool. But people understand all that. If Mr. Jack Lontong can understand, he can make jokes that can enter the heads and hearts of many people. How many Jack Lontong followers? Or you don't know? Let's check it out. I imagine it. Anyway, I'm happy if there are people who seem to be influential influencer we can use as spokesperson. So first, what the president said yesterday was homework for ICA, and chairman who will be elected tomorrow. Second, we are faced with a world where technology is now something that exists and will continue to change a lot of our lives, including the concept of transparency and accountability. Because they would talk about digital technology where everything is a digital footprint that is easy to capture, the concept of recording and that reporting analytical accountability should also have to change too. So no wonder one of them say that the profession that is threatened by artificial intelligence is accountants because the data is automatically recorded and the data is reported in a format that can be analyzed by AI or artificial intelligence. So the question is, in the context that technology is present and will continue to change, what is the future of governance and accountability? The concept of governance and accountability, because what really is called a disturbance is that technology is transferred to the business process and the business model. The business process and the business model. If what are disturbed, what does it mean in terms of the concept of accountability and governance? New governance, like what we should do, it is something that might be necessary. And then the interpretation, because the president is now emphasizing we need to build human resources through a lot of training. Don't let us train a lot of new accountants who will later become obsolete. It is something very serious today. And of course, this is something I also hope that this will be one of the driving factors for change. In the Ministry of Finance, we are not very familiar to this change. When with the State Treasury Finance Law, we reorganize the Directorate General of the Treasury that was the most subject to disruption. In the past, the treasury was the cashier, the government chief and pay, and they will all shift to the bank so that the director general of the treasury already had an information system using SPN and MPN. From 500,000 to now only 7,000 is a disruption. It is something that has been and has happened in the Ministry of Finance. We hope that in the future, the Ministry of Finance will also continue to change with the technology and we continue to try to discuss and find out what it means. From this perspective, I hope that the ICA can become our partner, a reliable partner, an intellectual partner, so that we can also think about where Indonesia is going in the future and what we need to design. Maybe my last one could actually be very long, but I asked you to hurry up. We have talked about sustainable development goals. Basically, the same as all fiscal policy is an instrument to achieve the goals of the state accountants, and accounting is an instrument to achieve the goal. So, often in the phenomenon of the Republic of Indonesia, the instrument is used as the goal. The public debate is wrong. There is an obsession with the balance sheets or part of the balance sheet. What it says, there is the debt continues. So, forgetting that there is asset and equity. So we also need not to participate in public confusion. Should be included in this room that can explain to the public. Don't confuse instrument with the objective. So, if we use the state budget to achieve the goals of the state, namely the prosperity, justice, the dignity of the republic, they follow his goals, not who dictates the goals. Just as before, accounting are our instruments to make sure that governance is good from the goal of creating accountability so that the main goals of the organization or country are achieved. I really appreciate the excellent cooperation with our internal auditors, Mr. Ardan, Financial and Development Supervisory Agency, and also our external auditors, Mr. Moore, Audit Board of the Republic of Indonesia, under the leadership of Mr. Moore, who always seems to have at least the same spirit. I honestly feel a very good and constructive relationship with this agency or institution. It is something I really appreciate. And the good relations are not due to the collusion, nepotism, or corruption. Just right different. I feel a professional relationship generally in many discussions when Mr. Moore said this. If you don't do this, it could be a disclaimer because this is a significant amount. What is the institution? What's the problem? The audit board said that because they want the Republic of Indonesia to be good, not part of the blackmailing. If you don't, I'm disclaimer. It's not like that. I feel very comfortable and feel that someone will take care of us later. If I face something like social security and healthcare, I have a financial development supervisory agency's internal auditor. So Adam, please, how could I get a bill like this? Is there anything that you could do? Look at these aspects. So, as the Minister of Finance, as the new state treasurer now, I really feel equipped. I have a deputy minister who is the professor, the chairman of the Indonesian Accounting Association. You're given applause again. It seems that I have agreed that tomorrow there is no need for another meeting. Only to conclude tonight's breakfast is closed. tomorrow. I have an internal auditor, Mr. Ardan, who can always ask to see professionally. I can trust its integrity. Our competency problems will always continue to improve, but at least I know it's not compromised because there really is a purpose other than that he wants to get right. I have the audit board of the Republic of Indonesia, who is also extraordinary now as an independent still external auditor, but currently tell us that what we need to improve. This is the best setting that I can feel. I said thank you about this. Hopefully, with this, we will be able to achieve good goals, including the Sustainable Development Goals. It means that I will very helpful that the resources in this Republic Indonesia are either assets of the Republic of Indonesia or Indonesia's cash flow. That we will constantly strive to improve. When I returned to being the Minister of Finance, I was given an opportunity for operating income and operating expenses. If we don't say that we are only satisfied with the way WTP, but our balance sheet structure also needs to be improved. Our financial statement needs to be improved. I have long been sophisticated like an accountant. Maybe one day I will be invited by ICA as 100 member. No, it's just kidding. But what we want to do is extraordinary, and that's what I feel in love with the accounting when I was old. Because when I was young, I was confused. The thing is, being told by Mr. Paul at the couple to balance wasn't as balance. Michael sweat it all out. My friend was not going to arrive 5 minutes later and smile. And I asked where the balance was. So now that I'm old, I fell in love with accounting because it is amazing. Something that always hassling. Oh, it should be here or it should be there. It all makes sense. This allows us to better track where the research goes. How come you you have a hobby like that? You're wondering. No wonder many people don't like accountants because they always know where they want to go, some for what. That is indeed there is no room for us to lie, to cheat. The theory should be like that. But the Enron and Arthur Andresen case happen. So you can also cheat with your tools. Please don't get the problem like that. Continue to maintain integrity and professionalism because the tools themselves are tools to improve the good governance and good accountability. That's why I say to entertain you all after saying I apologize for disrupting your entertainment tonight. Hopefully, it will continue to be one of the pillars of good governance in the Republic of Indonesia and can truly be a guardian for the Republic of Indonesia to move forward for us to achieve the goals of the Republic of Indonesia. Fair, prosperous, dignified Indonesian go. Therefore, Prof. Musmra and Prof. Mardiasmo respectfully present to the stage and award in the form of a token that will be given by Prof. Murma. Please give applause to Mrs. Remulyani Indrawati. Her speech before was incredible. Next is the handover of a book with the title Confirming the Glory of Professional Accountants by Prof. Mardiasmo to Mrs. Remulyani.